Right now, as you watch this, it's happening to you. Your thumb knows the motion without being told. A flick, a pause, another flick. You've done it thousands of times today without a single conscious decision to do so. And somewhere in a server farm, a system you've never seen is recording every micro movement, learning exactly what makes you stay. The average person unlocks their phone 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes you're awake. You don't remember most of them. You're not supposed to. This isn't an accident. It isn't weakness. It isn't a lack of discipline. What's happening to you was engineered, deliberately, scientifically, by some of the smartest behavioral psychologists and neuroscientists who have ever lived. And they built it using a principle discovered not in a tech lab, but in a cage full of pigeons in the 1950s. This is how the most addictive machine in human history actually works, and why you can't put it down. Let's start with the lever. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran a series of experiments that would accidentally lay the foundation for the modern attention economy. He placed animals in boxes with a lever. When the lever was pressed, sometimes food came out. He discovered something strange. When the reward was predictable, press the lever, always get food, the animals pressed it casually, only when hungry. But when he made the reward unpredictable, press the lever and food comes out only sometimes, at random intervals. The behavior changed completely. The animals pressed the lever compulsively, frantically, far more than they ever did when the reward was guaranteed. He'd discovered the most powerful behavioral driver known to psychology. It's called variable ratio reinforcement, and it's the single most important thing to understand about your phone. A reward that comes unpredictably after an unknown number of attempts produces the highest and most persistent rate of behavior of any pattern ever studied. Higher than guaranteed rewards, higher than punishment. Nothing else comes close. You already know a machine built entirely on this principle. The slot machine. You don't pull the lever because you know you'll win. You pull it because you might. That uncertainty, that maybe, is neurologically irresistible in a way that a guaranteed outcome never could be. The not knowing is the entire point. Now pick up your phone and look at what you actually do with it. Every time you open an app and pull down to refresh, you're pulling a lever. Sometimes the feed refreshes with something hilarious, something shocking, something that makes you feel seen. Most of the time, you get nothing interesting at all. But your brain has learned that the next pull, the very next one, might deliver, so you keep pulling. That pull to refresh gesture wasn't designed for convenience. It was designed to mirror the exact mechanical motion of a slot machine arm. The resemblance is not a coincidence. It is the product. But the lever is just the beginning. Because to understand why you genuinely cannot stop, you have to understand what's happening inside your brain. The chemical at the center of this is dopamine, and almost everyone misunderstands what it actually does. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, that it's released when you get something good. That's wrong. Dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about anticipation. Your brain releases dopamine not when you receive a reward, but in the moments before, when you're expecting one might be coming. This is the trap. The dopamine hit doesn't come from seeing the interesting post. It comes from the anticipation of maybe seeing one as you scroll toward it, which means the scrolling itself, the searching, the swiping, the endless reaching for the next thing is the addictive act, not the content, the pursuit. You are not addicted to what you find. You are addicted to looking. And the platforms know this with surgical precision. So they built an environment specifically designed to keep you in a permanent state of anticipation, never quite satisfied, always one swipe away from the thing that might finally deliver. Here's how they do it. The first weapon is infinite scroll. Before it existed, every feed had a bottom. You'd reach the end of what your friends had posted, and that natural stopping point gave your brain a signal. You're done. Put it down. Infinite scroll deleted that signal. There is no bottom anymore. The feed regenerates forever, ensuring you never encounter a single moment where stopping feels natural. The decision to stop must now come entirely from you, fighting against a system engineered to make sure it never does. The second weapon is autoplay. On video platforms, the next clip begins before you've consciously decided whether you want to watch it. By the time your rational brain asks, "Should I keep going?" you're already 3 seconds into the next video, and the momentum carries you forward. The choice to continue was made for you. You only get to choose to stop, and stopping always requires more effort than drifting. The third weapon is the most insidious: notifications. Notifications are not delivered when they happen. They are delivered when you're most likely to come back. Platforms deliberately withhold and batch your notifications, releasing them at unpredictable intervals calibrated to recapture your attention at the exact moments you're starting to drift away. The unpredictability is the point. The same variable ratio principle from Skinner's box, now reaching out to pull you back in. A notification might be something important. It might be nothing. You won't know until you check. So you check. Each of these systems was refined through millions of experiments run on billions of people. Every button placement, every color, every millisecond of delay before a like appears, all of it tested, measured, and optimized for a single metric: time on screen. And it's working. Over 1 billion people now spend an average of 3 hours a day scrolling. In 2026, an estimated 210 million people worldwide are considered clinically addicted to social media and the internet, a number rising every year. But the real cost isn't the time. It's what the time does to you. Here's the part nobody warns you about. As your brain is flooded with these unpredictable rewards day after day, it adapts. It adjusts its baseline. The constant stimulation becomes the new normal, and your brain responds by becoming less sensitive to it. This is called tolerance, the same process that drives every chemical addiction. And tolerance has a devastating side effect. As your baseline for stimulation rises, everything else falls below it. Reading a book starts to feel unbearably slow. A conversation feels like it's lagging. A walk without your phone feels almost physically uncomfortable. Activities that used to bring you genuine pleasure now register as boring because they can't compete with the engineered intensity of the feed. Psychologists have a name for this flattening of pleasure: anhedonia, the inability to feel satisfaction from things that should be satisfying. And it's becoming one of the defining psychological conditions of the scrolling generation. You're not imagining it. The book really does feel slower than it used to. Not because the book changed, because you did. When the stimulation is finally removed, when the phone is taken away or the app deleted, people report the classic signatures of withdrawal: irritability, difficulty concentrating, a restless, gnawing pull to go back. Your brain, having recalibrated around constant stimulation, now struggles to function without it. This is not a metaphor. The neural pathways involved are the same ones triggered by gambling, by nicotine, by opioids. The mechanism is identical. Only the delivery method is different, and the delivery method fits in your pocket, comes with you everywhere, and is socially encouraged to use in nearly every moment of your life. So if you've ever wondered why you reach for your phone the instant you feel a flicker of boredom, why you check it at red lights, in elevators, in the 3 seconds it takes for a web page to load, this is why. Your brain has been trained through thousands of repetitions to treat the smallest gap in stimulation as a cue to pull the lever again. But here's what the system doesn't want you to realize. The fact that you're feeling this, the fact that some part of you is uncomfortable, questioning, wanting out, means the trap isn't total. The same brain that adapted to the stimulation can adapt back. Dopamine sensitivity restores itself over 2 to 4 weeks of reduced input. The book gets interesting again. The walk feels good again. The gap stops feeling like an emergency. The machine is powerful, but it is not unbeatable. It only wins as long as you can't see it working. And now you can. The next time your thumb reaches for that refresh, that pull, that flick, that motion you've done 1,000 times today without thinking, stop for just a moment and recognize it for what it actually is: a lever in a box, built by people who studied exactly how to make you pull it. The question is no longer whether the machine is designed to capture you. It is. The only question left is whether, now that you can see the lever, you choose to keep pulling. This is the revealed world, and we've only just scratched the surface.